Alrighty, we're road testing Jacob V Weekly on the road in Sedona, Arizona. I got the theme music lined up here. What is this, a Hilton? This is a Hilton resort. The Sedona Hilton. Yeah, we're not going to swap out for different accommodations. Hilton Sedona Summit, Hilton Summit Sedona. Flew into Phoenix this morning. I'm telling you, I am done flying. This whole flying thing, I can't stand to be in there with those other monsters. The accommodations are lovely. I hardly even want to leave. We have 3 different pools. So we determined the Serenity pool is just 18 and up. It's not necessarily like it's... Well, because it's like if they want to do like a sound bath or something, who I really want to get this week, right? So I'm on the porch out here in Sedona at the Sedona Hilton Summit with executive producer Doreen Priestley. And we're talking about when we were in Siesta Key, we podcasted every night. And a lot of those were just on the Patreon. I think the first full episode was public to everybody. I haven't decided how we'll do this yet, right? We get to figure it out loud. Not tonight, no. But I wanted to make sure everything was working and set up so that, because actually we have 4 nights after this, Friday night, Saturday night, Sunday, Monday, that we could do them. Because I was like, do I even want to bother with it today? But once I plug it all in and set it all up, it's good to go. Because I even have a simpler setup than this. I have a microphone that goes right into the lightning jack on my phone or into the iPad. And so I can just hold my phone like this and do the audio part. The audio part's really easy to capture out loud. It's and the video's not bad, but capturing good audio and good video, you typically need 2 separate devices, like we do here. Like the camera's recording video internally, they can just see me. They can't see you, so don't worry. And then this is recording the other thing. But if I had that, I don't even think it would take like that much. Like Sam could run the camera. He loves that little thing. I would say, hold this for a minute, and then I could just hold the phone back and forth, and then that's all we would need to do. We should plan on that. I'll optimize that setup for tomorrow. I just got this camera. This morning, getting on the plane in St. Louis, a girl was getting on our plane with 3 Emo's pizzas. Yeah, it happened. You weren't paying attention. You were, focused. John watched her put 3 Emo's pizzas through the X-ray machine. She went behind me, of course.
And you didn't investigate?
I was over it. Yeah, or they're from here and they're taking it back to somebody that, or they're going to visit somebody who used to live here. My uncle, Chris Anich, who's been on the show, used to work at a restaurant called Zantigo, which is like an early Taco Bell alternative. And it was really good. And there still is one in like Minneapolis or something. And so every couple of years he'll go, and sometimes he'll sneak back some and like freeze it and heat it up later. I think he always drives. My family, we never flew. Yeah, with some tacos. I didn't fly for years. We never flew anywhere after I went to Germany in 8th grade. I didn't fly again until I went to Vegas with Keenan. I never even really thought to hate it. I know I don't like it, but I also don't like going to the grocery store. I also don't like taking a shuttle. I don't like leaving a concert at the same time as everybody else in the concert. Like I was at a sold out T-Pain Pitbull show the other night and left with everybody. And we parked on the far end of the parking lot, and it was just, I was roughing it. That was at Riverport. Yeah, it's just so much space. It's like Vegas too. Like if you look at it on Google Maps, because everything's relative, you don't realize how much bigger just everything is. And so even inside, it's a ton of walking. Yeah. It's a ton of walking just to get to the elevator to get up to your room. Which is fine, but you don't. It takes some adjustment too. because they want to sponsor the show. That could be good. I've always been a huge Hilton guy. And is it the Hampton by Hilton that has the Paris Hilton waffle? Hilton owns that now, and then since Hilton bought it, Paris Hilton does a signature waffle with them on their breakfast bar. You get the Paris Hilton signature waffle.
That's kind of it.
I've never known you to stay in a place like that.
What, a Hilton or a
Hampton.
Oh,
Yeah.
Genuinely booked.
What's the sacrifice?
That will never happen again, I'm sure.
That's that George Clooney character in Up in the Air.
Don't know.
He travels around for work, but he like hoards miles. He gets in a club where he has like 1 million miles or something.
You don't use them as
They shot some of that in St. Louis.
I've never seen it. What's the name of it?
Up in the Air.
That sounds like fun.
Yeah, I kind of am associates with a guy who did the song that was in the credits, and he's a St. Louis guy, and so that was kind of a big deal for him. But he's a real goofy dude. But no, it's a good movie. It's kind of about the employment crisis after 2008. They shot part of it at a church in Maplewood, right down the street from the hair salon I worked at the time.
Really?
I don't know that there was one in the script as much as I think one of the filmmakers or producers or something wanted to shoot some of it here, and they had some of the extras were people from St. Louis and stuff. I don't remember. It was something about somebody who wrote it, or we'll look this up this week for the show. No, but that's the thing too. It seems so random because the employment crisis that happened in that era that movie was really about took place all over the world, really. So, but I think because I don't think his character was said out loud to be from St. Louis, but all the stuff that was him back home for his sister's wedding was shot in St. Louis. So
Where did they shoot it?
they shot some of it at that church on Sutton, Maplewood Methodist Church or something, and then they shot some of it at either Afton High School or not Afton High School, but the middle school, Truman Middle School, because there's one part where they go to a school he had gone to, and him and his love interest climb in one of the windows, and if you go, it's exactly those windows from that same building. Who are George Clooney's parents? Nick Clooney and Nina Bruce Warren. Lexington, Kentucky, a former anchorman and television host, who is the brother of singer Rosemary Clooney. That's his TT. Rosemary Clooney's his TT. An aunt. TT. That's from the community I service mostly. They'll say that's my TT. Why did they shoot some of Up in the Air in St. Louis?
Okay.
The 2009 film Up in the Air was filmed in St. Louis, Missouri for a number of reasons. The film cast 2,000 extras in St. Louis, along with 15 to 25 Missouri actors in minor speaking roles. Filming at Lambert International Airport, filming at the Cheshire Inn. The wedding shower scene was filmed at the Cheshire Inn. That's over by Dogtown, like by the big Amico sign, right behind it. At the Cheshire Inn? Yeah. Oh, yeah. Filming at Afton High School. The film was also shot at Afton High School. And that's where John Goodman went to school. He went to Afton High School. Filming with non-actors. The filmmakers placed an ad in the St. Louis paper asking people who had recently lost their job to be in the film. The ad was worded to make it seem like the filmmakers were a documentary crew, and they received 100 responses with 60 people filmed. 22 of those people are featured in the final cut. He wanted the film to be as authentic as possible and found kind of everything on his checklist in St. Louis. So it's also possible that somebody representing St. Louis in some way curated that and allowed that to happen. You know what I mean? But also they could shoot it all at Lambert Airport, and they're not going to have the same disruptions as they would as Denver or Atlanta or LAX or Kennedy or LaGuardia, Newark. I would actually love to do more travel content, but I would need Get the sizzle. We need to get you a boom. We need to get you a boom for that. Like the guy on the film set, a boom arm, the big arm where they hold the microphone and point it while people, you know what I mean? Like you see on a TV set. Yeah.
I know what you say.
Yeah, I think John's got the 15.
Which I actually did once.
Oh, yeah, you put it in there with your coffee?
No, I had my phone in one hand and the coffee in the other, and I was half asleep in the morning, and the phone went into the microwave for 1 minute, and the coffee sat on the counter cold.
How'd the phone do?
It was It was like singed. It was dead. It was fried. And it was obvious.
You literally fried it.
I think so.
You microwaved it.
They asked me at the Apple Store, what happened? I'm like, I have no idea how this phone.
Yeah,
they must have.
You remember when that happened to CeeLo Green? There was a camera footage of him in his like recording studio, and his Samsung phone blew up. You remember when they were doing that? This is 10 years ago, probably. The batteries were blowing up.
I heard something like that.
Yeah. And having him.
So literally it blew up in his hand?
Yeah, like it would heat up and then it would like burn out. And then like
Samsung?
Yeah, at the time. And not like explode like what was happening in Palestine this week.
Right.
But more so you like heat up and like spark and like catch fire.
Yeah, like the vape apparently on the airplane.
Yeah, don't get caught with them.
No, I'm not.
We'll get air marshaled.
Yeah, I'm not gonna. I do look for trouble sometimes.
Doug's
but
back.
not when it
This has
comes
been
to
a good,
planes.
healthy 20 minutes.
Yay.
To start what's going to be.
Start off the vacation.
Yes, we're kicking off, and
we
could do 4 whole episodes this week just like this.
And,
no problem.
And at least one adventure, maybe a Grand Canyon adventure, and then
We're
one
doing
activity.
the Grand Canyon adventure, and that's the thing too, is that when like when I'm on tour with No Antics, what we do is we do the audio in the car, just like this.
Right.
But I don't record video because that's boring, just in the car.
But you've got to have
But
video
then,
with the
while
Grand
we're
Canyon.
out and about seeing sights, I take the video, and then I just put that video over us talking.
Yes.
So if we decide that we can't do
Yeah.
audio tomorrow, we're going to get video anyway.
That stuff is fun. You know what?
Yeah.
That is something I could probably help you with once I knew. I love to do it. It's so time consuming.
Yeah.
Putting everything
And
together.
the new stuff, that computer I bought during COVID, turns out is even nicer than I thought it was at the time. And it has just everything I need to do all the video stuff I've been doing for the show.
Yeah.
And so now that I've learned how to use all the stuff, that stuff's only going to get better. And I get really good responses out of that. Like the stuff I did of us in Indianapolis walking around in slow motion, and then the talking was just underneath that.
Okay.
People really liked that one, and that concept of doing a travel podcast that way.
I like that.
Yeah. So Grand Canyon tomorrow,
Absolutely.
and it's like 10 o'clock in our
This is
brains.
a dream for Doug. I wonder if he's going to get teary-eyed. I bet he does.
Oh, he'll fall apart.
Oh.
So
He is loving this. Like, he's quietly.
we should
he's
shoot
just-
it like a reality show. Like I wish I had lav mics we could put on everybody. Like he's running away. Like get the camera away from me. He's crying. This is so beautiful.
I know. You could feel it.
How does that happen? Just because the water?
That's what I had the conversation. I'm like, I know how like the Rockies were formed, but I'm like, did the glacier, like, how did, I want to know. I have to research the whole thing now. How can these formations happen in nature? And it's just, this planet is just so amazing. How did that happen? It's perfection.
This weekend on Jacob V Weekly, live from Sedona, the Grand Canyon, Mysteries of the Universe. What was the other thing? George Clooney is a Nepo baby. That was what we were going to talk about. We figured it out. We decided to stick around and figure that stuff out. The George Clooney stuff we were
The
talking about.
Oh,
That's what that is when your parents are
okay,
famous.
right.
And then you're
so
famous.
you didn't know that? Did I know something you
I
didn't
knew
know?
Rosemary Clooney, but I couldn't remember if that was his mom or his aunt or his dad was not nearly as famous as his aunt.
No, but I remember him because before, when television was different, he was on American Movie Classics. And he would introduce the old films that I love to watch. And that was his dad. That was years and years and years ago. So anyway, that's George Clooney. Okay.
His dad was Nick.
Nick, yeah.
Nick
I think you said
Clooney.
Nick. Yes.
R.I.P.
All right. Probably.
Probably by now.
I'm thinking.
That's reasonable. Let
And
that man
he
go
was
to
a
Jesus.
handsome man as
Yeah,
well.
let him go. Let him go.
Yeah.
He's introducing movies in heaven.
Yeah.
All right, we'll be back. We're back. We're in Sedona. I'm here with executive producer Doreen Priestley. Off camera, of course. And Caddyshack, il.org, save a life for 9. Caddyshack's going to be in the Pride, STL Pride event October 5th. So come through. Who is that?
Jay's podcasting, and everybody wants to hear from you about your experiences at the Grand Canyon.
I'll be up.
Okay. Patreon.com/JacobV. Did we talk about the lady bringing the Emos pizzas on the plane? We talked about that yesterday.
Yeah, that's covered.
We made Christopher upgrade to first class.
We did not talk about that.
We didn't talk about that?
No.
So my wife and I pick our seats ahead of time on American Airlines. And we know there's going to be a stranger in the aisle seat. I'm going to be in the middle. Keenan will be on the window. And then we get there, and there's a lovely gentleman named Christopher who is going to be seated next to us. Well, before the gates close, the boarding pass lady comes onto the plane, finds him, and gives him his upgrade to first class, which means in the 30 minutes between when I took my seat and when they closed the gate, if it was even that long.
Oh my God, Jake.
He went ahead and dropped the $240 to upgrade himself to first class, which I respect. That's a ballsy move.
I think so.
I don't know that I would have had the balls.
Christopher did.
It crossed my mind. I thought about, I could upgrade just me to first class and have this empty seat next to my wife.
Oh, would it be fun to upgrade to first class next to him if there was a seat next to him?
Oh, I should have chased him. He put in his $240 upgrade, and then I see, oh, Chris, wait for me, and then I move up to first class because there was no other way around that.
If nothing else, just to give him a reason to.
And he could afford it. He had a garment bag with at least 2 suits in it. Mm-hmm. He is doing fine.
Well, he should have.
He had a keyboard on his iPad
seats from the get-go. To hell with Christopher. I hope they spilled a drink on him.
I'm sure he's fine. I wasn't offended. He wasn't rude to me at all. Really good. I slept a lot. Like, I could have kept sleeping last night. But Grand Canyon today. This episode of Jacob V Weekly from Sedona, Arizona is going to include some B-roll, I'm sure, you'll see of the beautiful Grand Canyon and surrounding region.
Painted Desert. I didn't realize that was the Painted Desert as we were going in.
Yeah.
The reservations.
Yeah, they say it's easier. Yeah.
Yeah. It's a lot to see and nothing. You know what I mean? It's just all nature. Beautiful. It's incredible.
Yeah, I think it just looks different in movies and stuff. Like, I didn't expect there to be so many trees.
Yeah. Yeah, the vegetation, the diversity. It's
grateful.
just all about, like, which way a ridge or a formation is facing. It's like in the Grand Canyon, I read something. There were Douglas firs, which you wouldn't think would be in the Grand Canyon, but they're tucked under a shaded spot where they've probably lived forever because it's the ideal spot in the Grand Canyon.
Well, thinking about it, like,
nuts.
I don't like to sit outside like this at night when it's this hot in St. Louis.
No.
But it's because it's not humid, I guess.
It's not humid, no.
It's it feels kind of nice.
It is actually very nice.
It's beautiful today.
Breeze.
It was like 85
breeze.
when we were at the Grand Canyon.
It was perfect.
Which is
perfect
lovely
canyon
breeze,
weather.
no humidity. We had ice cream.
I had it was an experience, a memory with my Rocky Road ice cream with Keenan. Where's the link for this? Yeah, he is. I don't know how to turn that light on.
Okay, but I'm on camera. That's why it's on.
Oh, okay. Okay, so having what was delicious, I think, Dryers, Rocky Road ice cream, in the beautifully hand-carved wooden rocking chairs on the porch.
Yeah, those were hand-carved rocking chairs.
Next to Keenan, who was having her ice cream at the Grand Canyon on the most beautiful day with all the people in the world I love the most. And it was just perfect. It was a moment. It's etched into the brain, and hopefully I won't lose it one day.
I think this is as far west of it as I've ever got.
Really?
No, because we did the Hoover Dam. Where's that?
That's in Hoover Dam is in Nevada, right?
Yeah, but is that west of here?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
Okay, so that's the farthest west.
Yeah.
Because I grew up in the ideology of we got two coasts right here at home. There's two sides to the Mississippi. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And there's definitely a preferential coast, but you have options. We used to go. My dad's dad had a. You've met him maybe once, at my wedding probably.
Yeah.
And that's if we introduced you, which we might not have bothered to do. They used to have like a house on stilts on the Mississippi
Oh.
that we would go to, and they had like a pontoon boat and like I think that's where we were when I found out Princess Diana died.
Oh. Everybody kind of knows where they were when they
Right.
found that out. So
Yeah.
you were on a
But that's
pontoon
like-
boat somewhere on the Mississippi.
Yeah, and
Do I need to run to you were talking about?
no. But yeah, we never did. I mean, we did Florida a couple of times,
Yeah.
and
So you'd been to the beach. Like, who was I talking?
Yeah.
Maybe it was Keenan.
Well, no,
'cause
that's
you
the
were
thing,
in a
too.
different car.
like there's levels to it. There's people that have never even seen the ocean.
Right. That's what Keenan was saying.
Tons of people
There
that we
was
see every
Is there
day.
a friend or something? And he went to see it. Like, imagine seeing the ocean for the first time.
At almost 70. I think it was my stepdad.
Oh, maybe it was like the ocean.
Yeah.
Like, it must be. I mean, seeing the Grand Canyon today for me it's just unbelievable.
Yeah.
To me, it's like, but if you see it every day, I mean, even being here for just a couple of short days, it's not that you get used to it, but you're not as like gobsmacked.
We also have that fire raging
yeah.
south of Flagstaff.
Yeah.
And so there's a dreamy kind of haziness over everything.
Yeah.
I didn't feel like my visibility was too much inhibited, especially not in the Grand Canyon itself. You could see the river.
Oh,
you could
not
see,
there.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it was so beautiful.
So beautiful.
But also way more intricate or I don't know. Like, I always picture, like, you come up on one side of it and it's a flat desert and then there's just a canyon. Mm-hmm. You know what I mean? But the actual, everything around it, there's so much more biodiversity, especially with the plant life and what.
Exactly.
'cause I
Very
keep
much
thinking
so.
of Family Vacation. It seems like it's just a flat, because of how you shoot it for a movie to make it make sense.
Right.
It's a flat desert and then the canyon.
Well, that's
Right.
what Keenan and I, when we were in our rocking chairs in the Grand Canyon, having a moment, we were talking about, boy, when I pictured it, that's exactly what I thought, that it would be like just this abyss, and then you would just walk up to the edge and look
Yeah.
under it. And I didn't picture any other people there. I didn't
Yeah.
picture an ice cream shop for sure. And it's just very different than what we experienced today.
The elevation was noticeable. We went up as we were driving up. We stopped at that first place.
That's where that
The
lookout.
first bathroom stop, the lookout place where they were
Yeah.
setting up the
And
sail.
the smoke had
It was really
like,
hazy
was
there.
below us in
Yeah.
this huge, like you absolutely couldn't see the
Beautiful.
bottom, but you
it looked
couldn't
like in
see it through
Zelda
all
or
the-
something where you look down a pit and it just goes on forever.
Well, there were several places that did that. And
Yeah, because especially with the smoke and whatnot, it was it's just so hilarious. Like the edge of the map in Breath of the Wild. That's what it looked like.
yeah, it's I don't know. It's very hard. to
But
even
again,
put into words.
yeah, so many more plants and so many fewer snakes than I anticipated.
I had forgot to check for. I forgot about checking for snakes and scorpions, which
We
is
were-
a good thing. I didn't like.
It was so
obsess
heavily
over that.
populated where we were.
Yeah.
We weren't kind of going off
Yeah,
the path at all.
Doug said he was looking out for me though. But
Oh yeah,
I
looking
don't
out for
know.
snakes. Oh, because that's the rest of his weekend. If you get bit by a rattlesnake today,
Yeah, that's gonna.
we just flew in yesterday. and We were saying we were really grateful we knocked the Grand Canyon part off of our list first because It was probably the most important. It was the thing we'd regret missing the most.
Yeah, it was.
And so it was a big part of making this trip. But then because we got that out of the way, now we can kind of accidentally discover some things. I really want to see if we can, because we could take this anywhere. And
Right.
if we could maybe interview a Sidonian.
Oh.
A Sidonian.
Yeah, but you get who?
I really
who
liked-
lives in
I-
Sedona that?
I really liked the lady from the Safeway.
Oh yes.
But
We've had a couple of great people. How about the guy who checked us in at the Grand Canyon? The guy
Oh,
from
God.
was he
That
not
man
the
loves
best?
his job.
Oh, loves his job. Like the customer
The park
service I've
ranger.
received here has been exceptional.
yeah, there is a thing people say about kind of destinations like this, like Joshua Tree is like this too, where people have like a magical kind of affinity for it. That some of the people that live there and that you interact with, and like that there's like a mythical infatuation some of those people have with people have it about all kinds of different parts of California.
Sure.
I mean, my cousin's husband is from Santa Barbara. He went to Santa Barbara High School, which is just weird because you don't think that's like a real thing. That's like something you see in like that sounds like Buffy the Vampire Slayer, right?
Yeah.
Like it sounds like a fictional, or like I picture the high school in the movie She's All That with Freddie Prinze Jr.
Okay.
This would have been like 1999. But just
Ever like Beverly Hills 90210?
exactly
Wasn't that a
same
high school?
vibe. Yeah. And so he talks about Santa Barbara like it's paradise. Like he got like, and he lives in St. Louis now, so he talks about it like he got cast out of the Garden of Eden.
Well,
But it's but by the cost of living there, not by
sure.
people.
Santa
you know what
Barbara,
I mean?
I think, is quite expensive.
Oh yeah, it's beautiful though. He was
Yeah, it is.
and they go back for holidays and stuff, but that's what Cindy from the store was saying she was saying, yeah, I moved here in 1980 when it was affordable. Now it's untouchable.
Untouchable. Where'd she move from?
I didn't
Did she
ask her.
say?
This is why I
see,
want to
now we
have
need
her
to
on
go-
the show.
We need to go back and interrogate
We
her.
gotta go back and interrogate Cynthia at the Safeway.
But the guy at the Grand Canyon, you noticed that too. He was from Missouri.
Yeah, he was from Southwest Missouri. So what is that,
Yes.
like Joplin?
That's what we figured. And then here he is, his ass sitting at the welcome little booth at the Grand
His
Canyon.
hat was so
loving
well
his-
starched.
Loving his job. He had the creases
His
in
job.
his shirt. Yeah. He was all about it. So friendly, so wonderful. It was a nice way to get
He
it
said
all
to us,
going.
he said to you guys, he said, what happened to those Cardinals?
Oh, yeah. I wouldn't know.
It's really depressing right now, just because I try to pick this stuff up culturally, to just to try to, it's been such a big part of our culture for so long, but I'm with you. I'm not really that into it.
Yeah.
But the couple of times we had those crazy, I almost said Super Bowl.
Right.
What is that thing called? World Series. The couple
Right.
of cut that. Couple times we had those massive World Series runs. I remember it's just such a cool part of the thing.
Yeah, it's a
And then
big
I
sports-
watched the Blues win the Stanley Cup for the first time in a watch party in Busch Stadium.
Okay, yeah.
So we were all in Busch Stadium watching it on the screen together, which was scary. Because I was like, wait a minute, what if we lose? And I'm surrounded by all these drunk people.
Who are furious.
And probably
at
less
losing.
security because the team wasn't actually there. You know what I mean? It was
Yeah.
just,
It was a free for all. Yeah, St.
but-
Louis takes its sports seriously.
No, so right now it's a really depressing time because we've had a rough
Yeah.
couple of years, and then this season we didn't get very far.
Yeah.
And then so October we're just off, and so and I think Yachty and Pujols again and some other guy are all retiring.
Pujols, I thought he wasn't even with the Cardinals
He
anymore.
came back.
See, this is how much I know.
No, but he just came back like last year or the year
I
before.
thought everybody hated him for leaving.
Right, but then he had his career out there with the Angels, and then they, decided to do either one more season or two more seasons to round out his career together. It could just be the one season. I can't remember.
We should clarify because I remember hearing about Pujols when I first moved to St. Louis.
Exactly. No, that's when he was a young guy.
But his name is
But also-
Pujols. Can we just talk about that?
Yeah, well,
I'm like,
that's-
somebody tell me.
It's
this-
P-U-J.
I know. Just do a spelling really quickly, just for your.
Pujols. Albert Pujols. He's Dominican.
Okay. Thanks for the spelling. Yeah, I had to actually see it to be like, okay.
Yeah. The P-U really saves it. In that
Yes,
P-O-O-O.
as opposed to the double O.
And yeah, so I believe he's, but I can't remember how long that would have been. So right now, as a St. Louis Cardinal Nation, it's a dark time.
Right, and the guy at the Canyon knew it.
Yeah,
It's a dark time.
and that's what he meant by that. That's what he meant by what happened to those Cardinals. And yeah, I think I just saw Yadier Molina, Pujols, and maybe Adam Wainwright. Is he still around?
I can't believe Yachty is still with the Cardinals.
Well, he's not. I think they just all played their last game together.
Okay.
And I think part of him coming back was that part of that thing.
Oh, okay. I see. I really have not been paying attention.
Puerto Rican former professional baseball catcher who played his entire 19-year career with the St. Louis Cardinals.
He is beloved.
But they think he'll come right back in as a coach, I think, is what I'm saying.
Da 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 da.
No, so Cardinals, he came back in 22.
Okay.
So he did 2 years, to his last 2 seasons.
Okay.
And then they're all leaving together. So it's going to
that's
be
beautiful.
We're not going to have any. It's really what this season for the Cardinals is like the end of the Infinity Saga with the Avengers.
Oh.
And so we had a
I
really
see.
great run, but we didn't really win at the end. And now they're all retiring.
Right.
You know what I mean? Robert Downey Jr. still died. He's not dead. I meant Iron Man dies.
Yeah.
And then
I saw him in something recently. What was it? Oh, what the hell was that? Yeah. A different subject. Robert Downey Jr.
Robert Downey Jr.
I just watched him in something. John recommended it. What was the name of it? It was pretty fun. If you're a fan, what the hell? What is the new Siri? What is the new Robert Downey
Siri.
Jr. show? The Sympathizer.
I don't know.
Jonathan recommended it, but he plays Robert Downey Jr. If you're a fan, he plays. I think it's at least 4 different characters in this series. It's a limited series, and it's really
He
really
wants to be
different.
Eddie Murphy so bad.
Oh, is that what it is? You know that I saw him 1988 or 89 at the DMV in Los Angeles, waiting in line with the rest of us poor slobs.
Robert Downey Jr. or Eddie Murphy?
Robert Downey Jr. Yeah.
89.
Yeah, I think he was. Weren't those his druggy years? I think.
Yeah.
Part of them. Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, he was a young man.
So even when you're Robert Downey Jr., you still gotta wait at the DMV.
And that's one of the few things you kind of have to do yourself because you got to
Right.
get an ID for yourself.
Right. You can't send
You
your
can't
assistant.
send a surrogate. You know what I mean?
Right. Exactly.
Does that mean Kim Kardashian goes to the DMV?
You should have to. All of them do, right?
Does Donald Trump have to go to the DMV?
No, come on. Absolutely not. There's just no
Where's
way.
the line?
Yeah, does he have a driver's license with his fucking picture on? Sorry, his picture on it. See,
You could cuss on the podcast. I think you're well aware.
and it's Donald Trump. Does his fucking
Does Donald
picture
Trump
on a
have to
driver's
go to
license?
the DMV? I know he drives because there's that video of him listening to Taylor Swift with Barron in the front seat next to him.
So I bet he can drive, but I bet he doesn't think he needs to have a driver's license. He's just
Well, because if they
entitled
pulled
to
him
it, like
over,
he's
he would take
entitled
it to the Supreme
everything.
Court.
Yes.
If he got pulled over,
He absolutely
he
would.
would say, "You can't even ask a president for their driver's license. How
Right.
dare you? I'll see you in court."
Right.
Is what he would say.
I mean,
so
and
I wouldn't
don't
want
I
to.
think that's probably pretty close to the truth, right
Yeah.
there.
His driver's license cast doubt on his height claims. Yes, famous people still have to go to the DMV like everyone else. For example, Robert Downey Jr. visited the DMV in Santa Monica, California to renew his driver's license. He posted Photos
So
of.
that's so weird that they wouldn't.
Why would that be the example?
When it was my example.
They are listening. He posted photos of himself
They're
going through the process on
listening.
Twitter, and was retweeted and favorited more than 3,000 and 8,000 times in one day,
But
respectively.
I bet he wasn't as fucked up as he was at the DMV
No,
in
when you saw him at
1989.
89. That's so funny that you saw
That
him
is
at the
so
DMV
weird.
in 89, and then ABC7 has a story here about 2014. He live tweeted going to the DMV.
That's so weird. Maybe he just likes being at the DMV. Maybe he goes there like 3 days a week.
That's where he buys his drugs. Everyone's seeing Robert Downey Jr. at the DMV.
I swear that is so weird. This was unplanned. It was just like absolutely because these things are.
Before he went to
so
jail, Suge Knight
strange.
used to be at the Hope Street DMV all the time. My guess is that when you're rich enough, you have a personal assistant wait in line for you, but you have to ultimately do the counterpart yourself.
Okay, right.
So Kim probably has a guy stand in line
Standing
with her
in line
number,
for her.
and then walkie-talkies when he's next up, and then
Come
she
in now, and then she
swoops
put her
in.
shades
yeah.
on.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. a
Yeah,
lot of
that's how that
PAs.
works. That makes sense to me.
There's a really nondescript DMV services place in Sherman Oaks that this person says they went to all the time when they were working as a PA. Sherman Oaks is where Ben Shapiro is
That's
from.
in Sherman Oaks is in the valley, I think. I think Dougie used to. He was in Woodland Hills, but for some reason I think Sherman Oaks is.
Yeah, it's really
by there.
segregated though, so
Yeah. Well,
it's possible.
yeah.
There's a thing called auto tags.
What do you mean? Like if you're at the DMV, you,
Auto tags. It's like a premium service where they're licensed to do a lot of that stuff, but they do a lot of it for
Oh.
richer people. It
okay,
looks
I
like
got
auto
it.
tags
People
with a
can't
Z.
be bothered. Well, that's one way around
Shout
it.
out to auto tags in Sherman Oaks. Yeah, assistance is the main thing. So
Okay,
Donald
got
Trump
it.
could have a Secret Service person.
Well, he would now, but who knows? I just really don't know.
But you would also think, because that's the big thing, because to pay a doctor cash in an environment where the doctor is expecting to be paid in cash, it's much more affordable than many people would imagine.
Like a Brazilian butt lift and
No. Not even like that. But I mean like a concierge thing. Like you heard about this during COVID a lot. Like the podcast guys that were all, they would have doctors come to them all the time so they could test before interviews. And so
I see.
even if it's a couple $100, if you're a famous person, to not have to go sit in a line somewhere, certainly during a pandemic.
Right.
There were a lot of doctors too who didn't want to work in a hospital in the line of danger because we didn't know what was going on,
Right.
and so they were doing private stuff. And you also had people moving all over the country, so you had a market for private doctors in a way that you didn't necessarily.
Making house calls, you think?
Yeah, exactly,
Okay.
absolutely.
Do you know that they're dying? I have a friend who I played tennis with who was a doctor, and she, I didn't know it, but I found out. So she has patients, but only, like, she doesn't work at a hospital. She goes and has, like, a select families that she takes care of.
Yeah.
Exclusively.
Yeah.
I don't know how that works, but wow, I
Well,
didn't know that
'cause
was
if
a
you
thing,
ha-
but it's a
if you
thing, and
have
it's, I think it's
a
pretty-
competitive retainer rate in an area that allows you to juggle, say, 5-10 families. I mean, how many families would it take? How many would you really need them that often? If you're just making house calls for, say, 20 families exclusively,
Yeah.
that gets really affordable for them
right.
really quickly if it's, a non-emergency thing, especially because then you have a little money to throw around if you need to bring in some help if you get doubled up.
Sure.
You know what I mean?
Sure, yeah.
Because really, they can go to the emergency room if they need an ambulance. This is for everything else. You know what I mean?
Yeah, emergencies.
And you could definitely get private access to imaging or any of that stuff. Rich people get PET scans whenever they want.
Sure they do.
That's to make sure that the cancer is not spreading in your body or whatever. And so, a rich pregnant person can get any kind of scan they want at any point.
Boy, the inequity in this country.
Well, right. And it's, but that's because that's what we traded for the growth and innovation is, if we don't get, okay, you know what I just had that was amazing?
What?
The Witch's Brew slush float at Sonic Drive-In.
You're digressing again.
No, this is connected.
Okay.
This is a green apple slush with caramel boba pearls.
Where was this?
Sonic.
Oh.
And it's got vanilla soft serve on top. And so it kind of starts to turn into a green caramel apple milkshake.
Wow. Somebody put some thought into that.
Yeah, and I got it for half off in the app. Now, the only reason you ever get to a point where you can design a drink like that is because you have said, let's not talk about what makes sense holistically. Let's see what we can do with this demonic invention of the economy that we've generated and see what we can turn it into.
Let's see what shit we can sell to these people.
Exactly.
Like Taco Bell.
Well,
Can we? I don't want to talk too much about it, but
in Europe,
Taco Bell.
there are 1,000 different ingredients that we use in food all the time here that are illegal there.
I'm sure.
And so Americans joke about all the time, McDonald's and shit is really tasty over there because it's different, because it's got up to 1,000 things different in it than
Wow,
we
in the
include.
same
Different preservatives,
McDouble?
different sweeteners,
Huh, so
different
it tastes
things.
completely different.
Absolutely.
I wouldn't know.
And
Not-
better in some ways. Also
Yeah.
less habit forming.
Sure.
It's a little more expensive. But because, they don't let you put high fructose corn syrup in the beef patties at
Right.
McDonald's in Switzerland, which was lovely. The McDonald's in Switzerland that I went to were really sweet.
McDonald's.
Two
It's so weird
stories.
to think about McDonald's in any European country. It's just,
We need to go to the McDonald's here because it's painted turquoise.
yes, the
'Cause you can't-
golden arches are turquoise arches.
There's a giant architecture review board here in Sedona that doesn't let anybody do anything that's not in an Adobe kind of color palette.
Yes, a very muted color palette.
Yeah, very
but the blue
deserty.
and then you can throw
You can throw
the
a turquoise
in there. Yes,
and it's lovely. I'm
really
wearing.
is.
I got some. What is this? Amethyst.
I don't know. I can't see it.
I'm wearing some jewelry. I
Is
got
that
it
what you
at
bought
Navajo
today?
Trading Post on clearance. I got my new
The
hat.
hat.
Yeah, I got my. Well, anyway, I'll put the hat on later.
Yeah.
And what are we doing coming up on time-wise? Boys are still out having a drink. We're doing really
Yeah.
good. Let's just knock some things off the list since we're cooking with gas. We got good things going
Yeah.
here. The hat is the perfect thing for the microphone for you.
It is. It's a beautiful
Because
setup. In
you-
fact,
yeah.
this can go on your pictures.
Yeah.
We have some really good pictures of Jake, people, and hopefully he's going to put them.
Yeah, you
let
know what I
everybody
started
see
doing
them.
is I started putting.
This is interesting.
I know I'm a mess. I started making pictures from today into videos that I can put in the B-roll for this. So
I have some good stuff too.
Yeah, I don't usually do the video of the talking part while we're doing on the road stuff because I usually record in the car.
Oh, so it's just going to be B-roll stuff. And
No,
you
well,
tell-
that's the thing. I'm doing it now.
Oh, okay.
So I tried to always try something a little bit different.
Yes,
And
because
so
you're just like that.
because so what we could do is do the talking reel. What I'll do is I'll sync up all the audio with all of the video, and then we'll clip out parts
Oh,
like this
sure.
that are gratuitous and not
Yeah,
necessary
yeah,
for the
yeah.
audience. But
Yeah.
then as we're talking, I can fade in B-roll. I got a lot of slow motion B-roll.
God, that's like 16 hours of work. Or can you knock it
No,
out?
no. That's the thing. The last episode of this podcast, I left work at 3:30, got to doorstop at 4, left doorstop with the episode at 6, went home, did the edit with all the video and all the audio because I have 2 of these SD card adapters now.
Yeah, you've
So-
just streamlined everything.
I know. And so I had the episode out by midnight. That same
Wow,
night, day up.
that's impressive.
Now,
No.
this isn't necessary, and I don't have that same computer with me because it's on my big boy. But so it won't be that it won't be that quick. But I don't know. It's really exciting. It's
It is, and there's some good stuff.
well, and this is just a great the camera's just a great tool for the video thing of while traveling is so much
And
fun.
just remember to bring your planters peanuts so
Who
that
needs
you
a tripod? You don't need a tripod when you got planters. It's the perfect height. It's exactly what I needed.
Yes, the camera.
Doug's gonna be like, where are my fucking peanuts? Did you hear Eric Adams was indicted?
I don't. For what?
Mayor of New York City.
Okay.
Yeah, illegal donations and bribes.
Okay, so this is what I get for not watching news. I
Well-
deliberately avoid it.
Also, CEOs of major companies, specifically in the music business, have been resigning in mass since Diddy's been incarcerated.
Oh, wow. I was kind of following that because it's just amazing to me that somebody with all that talent and that life could just be such a piece of shit.
Talent is arguable.
Well, he obviously amassed an empire, right? But then,
People are saying that that's why he's the center point of that empire, though.
because
He made a deal with the devil in a way. They say that girl Jaguar Wright is saying Clive Davis, the Clive Davis, is one, evil, and two, turned Diddy into what Diddy is and has been Diddy's kind of like the emperor to Diddy's Darth Maul, if you will.
oh, okay, he's that devil on his shoulder, kind of.
Yeah, which kind of makes sense because you know what's crazy? 20 years ago, I remember hearing on VH1 Classic that, Clive Davis had a sexual relationship with Janis Joplin. And they made it sound like she insisted on them having a sexual relationship before she would sign a contract to a record deal with him.
Oh,
However, it's very possible that he was a dog, like a dirty dog, and doing the devil's business
Yeah.
out there for a long
I
time.
feel like there are a lot of dirty
Yeah.
dogs.
Is he still alive?
Let's find out. It's your
Clive
news
Davis. I think he
theory.
is, but he's so old.
Is Clive Davis still alive?
Clive Davis was born April 4,
Yeah, he's 92.
Oh, wow. Okay, yeah, born in 1932. He'll be what is the word? There'll be some accountability coming soon, right?
Yeah, he's still chief creative officer of Sony Music Entertainment. Or he was, well, he was in 2018.
Yeah, they gave him a
But
title
it's-
and a big paycheck.
But that's the thing. All of these CEOs that are resigning are all like that. There's
Yeah.
somebody you've never heard of who's the CEO of some branch of Sony or Atlantic or something that you've never heard of.
They're just doing that to try to avoid being,
Ousted.
get out before it gets ugly.
Because you can resign and protect a lot more of your anonymity than if you
Exactly.
if you stick around and wait for someone to say, "Hey, you need to leave."
Right. Unless you're Donald Trump, and then you just face the
Absolutely.
music and spin it however you want.
I think we can put a pin in this for now.
Okay.
Yeah.
Keenan's doing her embroidery.
Yeah, she's good. We can put a pin in this for now because we're coming up on an hour of audio for between the two nights so far, and then the boys will be back.
Yeah, we
And-
need to get some other people to the party.
Oh, absolutely. Yeah, we're just
Absolutely.
getting warmed up because I'll put everything together and I'll clip out just the final piece will be much less redundant.
I would like everyone to look forward to just to sit down with Doug, with your father-in-law, just to talk about his experience at the Grand Canyon.
Oh, yeah.
Because it was spiritual. It was like he was so mesmerized.
Yeah,
I'd love to hear.
this was always
Yes.
my attitude about this trip too. When people were like Sedona, Arizona,
I'm
or whatever.
so glad we stayed
we
here.
were in the planning process of trying to include the Grand Canyon part. I always knew, guys, we're not going to half-ass a family vacation.
Right.
So anywhere we go to accommodate somebody's bucket list of they want to see this or try this, we're going to have a really good time.
Oh, sure.
And so the fact that none of us had been here to see any of this stuff, and then we all kind of get to do it. It's late in life.
Together,
For all, I
yeah.
mean, some people see the Grand Canyon as children.
Right.
You know what I mean?
I was at the Petrified Forest when I was a kid, and
Not impressed.
I just was a kid. I didn't appreciate it.
Yeah.
And I was even wondering, well, if we were at the Petrified Forest on that vacation, did we stop by the Grand Canyon? I don't even remember.
Yeah.
But seeing it at my age now, it
Yeah.
was just it's just was so amazing.
Yeah.
Really.
Yeah. And surprising in a way. That's just really nice. So,
Yeah.
and we got that out of the way. We still got like 4 days.
I know.
Which is my favorite part. We get the
Yeah,
whole
the
weekend.
ATVs.
I'm having some anxiety about not being in St. Louis on Sunday for the things I normally do, but I am on vacation.
Okay, we take care of you. And you weren't hit by a falling rock. Apparently, Keenan said you have a fear of rocks falling. Like when you go through.
When I see the signs
Right.
and they say watch for falling rocks, I'm like, the audacity to
Like, how closely do I need to watch?
to tell me to one.
Do I need to have my head out of the window?
Let's
looking
just
up
say
the
I
cliff?
do see one.
Right.
What am I supposed to do? It doesn't have a phone number. I'm not supposed to report falling rocks. I'm
No,
just
but you
supposed
can
to.
stop the fucking car before it crushes you.
Is that it?
I guess. Watch for falling. No, you're right. I mean, watch for falling rock. Watch it like.
I'm just saying, if you're going to go out of your way to post a sign
I want
that
some
says
statistics.
"Watch for falling rocks,"
Yeah.
I want to know. I need a little more support. What else should I do?
Yeah. What else?
Once the rocks start falling,
What else is coming down?
watch for falling rocks. Take shelter if you see them. You know what I mean? Or call 1-800-STOP-ROCKS.
Yeah. Yeah.
So,
Yeah.
We'll be back. Sedona, Arizona. Jacob V. Weekly. Learned that in Siesta Key that if you let the microphone sit on glass, it has like a plate reverb effect. Jacob V. Weekly, we're back in Sedona. Beautiful last full day here in Sedona. Tomorrow we are going to check out of this lovely Hilton Summit resort that we've been in all weekend and travel to Phoenix for an evening before we fly out from Phoenix Tuesday morning. So
We're going to the ghost town tomorrow.
yeah, we're ghost towning it up. We're going to Jerome, Arizona. I'm joined by
Samuel Douglas
the youngest
Priestley.
son of the executive producer Doreen Priestley.
That's me. Exec produced.
Who we got? There she is. Speak of the devil. I just said executive producer Doreen Priestley, and there she is.
Fuck yeah.
Yeah, I got a USB port for him if he needs it. I got a spare one. This is a 2
Some
USB
little
port
mushroom
operation. Praise God.
Praise the Lord.
It's kind of overexposed right now, but I have this lovely mountain view behind this tree here. When you're standing, it's really easy to see. We're going to have lovely B-roll from the trip that we could that will be throughout the episode. So it's been a beautiful sightseeing adventure. I had a lovely lunch today at Rascal. Modern American Diner over at the
All white
Wild
meat. All white meat over there.
Wild something resort down the road from where we are. And I always love a Hilton experience. One of my earliest heroes was Paris Hilton, and she has a signature pink waffle they do on the breakfast buffet at the Hampton Inn.
Is that why it's called the Hilton?
Well, her family is. That's why that's her last
Really?
name. Yeah.
Is that true?
Yeah.
Holy shit. It's a dynasty then.
You didn't know who
No.
did you think Paris Hilton was?
Just a famous person. Self-made,
Well, that's a good point. I love her lasagna recipe.
It's a good one.
She has a recipe for lasagna that I've seen her make online, and it's really, really good.
What's the shtick with it though?
I don't think she drains the fat.
Oh.
So
it's
she
just a
browns.
bucket of-
She
yeah.
browns all the. It's probably all beef, which is not
For
ideal.
Sure. Yeah.
But I don't think she drained the fat, which would
So
probably
what,
make it good.
When you dump the meat into the layers, you bring the grease with it.
The grease is just throughout.
It's flowing.
Yeah.
That's good.
Yeah, I think it's good.
Yeah. I mean, you're eating lasagna.
Yeah, I mean, it's, you're not on.
It may as well be
You're not
wet,
doing an
you know?
Ironman marathon decathlon event while
Yeah.
eating lasagna.
Right.
Like, what gives?
That's a lot of fat, though.
So we definitely need to make sure we don't bury the lead and that we kind of give an honest recap of our experience last evening.
Okay,
with
yes.
Night Owl Astronomy Tours.
Christopher,
the Night Owl,
the Durango,
the Durango
toting,
man.
the telescope
So
wrangler.
we booked stargazing, right? Now, for me personally, because of some of the stupid shit I've done on vacation in my life, I thought maybe we were just going to a place where you could see the stars really good.
No, that's exactly what I expected.
I
too.
thought maybe even we'd be in hammocks or some shit.
Yeah.
I never thought for a minute that this guy was going to have telescopes. This man had a 2008 Dodge Durango. ZXT, I think they called it.
It's a nice car.
It's V8, strong, and maybe $30,000 worth of telescopes.
I think so. I mean, all of those.
He had
all
one.
of that
Describe the one,
equipment was
like the analog one with
the optical telescope.
So he had an optical refractor.
This motherfucker's telescope was about 6 feet long.
Yeah, it was a 6
consisted
foot.
of about 6 glass
At one
lens
point-
elements on the inside, and he had a wide angle eyepiece and a zoom eyepiece.
At one point, he told us that the telescope weighed 500 pounds.
Yeah, I mean, this tripod could support a Dodge Durango. You could definitely mount that Durango onto this tripod. It was beefy. The legs were about the size of mine.
Za just texted me, and she's mad that I said I was abroad because that's supposed to mean in a different country.
Uh-huh.
But this is Mexico.
So she got caught up on a technicality, and she's mad about it?
She's mad about it. But this is Mexico, and I think it needs to be returned. This reminds me of the resort in the second half of America's Sweethearts with John Cusack and Catherine Zeta-Jones. They're in a resort like this.
It's quite nice.
It's breathtaking.
Yeah.
Have you been to the pool?
I went to that pool down there, the separate spa hot tub.
Yeah.
Yeah, and I sat and I stewed with my father in a hot boiling mess of water, and it was uncomfortable. But we made it through. It was good. I went to the pool. We went dune buggying. Well, we should talk about the stargazing, frankly.
Yeah, that's where we were.
Right.
So we meet Chris at the Sedona Public Library at 7:45. He gets there about 7:55. Then he pulls up. We're waiting there for quite a long time. I texted him because apparently only my phone works up here. You guys are an AT&T family. I happen to be a Verizon bitch. And I told him to make the switch. And so I had 5G ultra wide. And so I was communicating with Chris. And he said, I'll be right there. And then he pulls up in his Dodge Durango with like a yellow siren light, like a Ghostbusters light.
It was giving Ghostbusters. It was giving Park Ranger mixed with Ghostbusters.
It was giving like amateur park or like aspiring park ranger is the word.
Yeah.
Not an official night watchman even.
Yeah.
And so we follow him into the woods. And he had told us that the area where we're actually going to do the event, the tour, is fenced in to keep out the wildlife. And Doreen asked, what wildlife?
Yeah.
And he said pigs mostly, which in this area I believe you would refer to wild boars as javelinas.
There were javelinas about.
About and amongst and amid, betwixt among
the fences, yeah.
And so, which makes sense to me because he's not saying that there's going to be a horde of hogs beating down the fence.
Yeah.
It's just so that when we pull up, there's likely no pigs where we're
Right.
going to be hanging out.
Well, I felt safe because he came out of the Durango. He had his cargo pants on with the elastic belt, which
Yeah.
I appreciated.
Yeah.
And then just like some kind of gray shirt,
Also,
and then
not
and then the
necessarily
fro.
threatening.
He had the fro.
I can't make out much of his features though because he had a red light on his head most of the evening.
He looked like I don't know. He looked like that background extra in all like super bad and shit. He's like a tubby Jewish man, and he's got the fro, and he's in the background of every movie, and he's got the rosacea and shit.
Yeah,
He looked like that
Sweet
guy.
man.
Sweet man. A little rotund. It was perfect.
Yeah, it was really, and you know what? So knowledgeable.
Yes.
He's just developmentally diverse enough that he can learn and understand and apply that knowledge as deeply as he does, because he's an actual like astronomer informed dude, right? And as opposed to like, he's not. I thought it was going to be a hillbilly with the rights to some farmland where it's real dark, and he was going to give us just binoculars to look at the stars or something. I had no idea.
I was expecting a 60-year-old man who was very washed out, very bored of what he was doing, you know.
Yeah, it was not.
And again,
it was.
I expected what you expected. We were going to go into a field. We were going to lay on some blankets, and we were just going to look up, and maybe this guy had a laser or some shit.
Yeah.
Not the laser.
There's so much to go into detail on about. I don't even know where to go. I feel like I'm getting ahead of
The
myself.
experience was magical. It was informative.
Yeah.
It was eye-opening. And I mean that optical telescope. I wanted to take it home.
I'm not as into the optical though as I am into the Raza.
Yeah.
Because I like the idea that I could have a super fancy telescope making high fidelity images of constellations in real time while I'm seated on a couch and monitoring it from my TV.
Well, so the experience kind of consisted of he would mention a certain star or a certain area in the sky, some kind of astro phenomenon that we were going to witness, and then he had a little fucking calculator that he pulled out of his telescope, and it would automatically just fucking with servo motors and all types of movement platforms, it would go to that exact spot, and then he would focus it up, and we would just go and look through the eyepiece and see some magic, you know. And it really it put things in perspective for sure.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
And
that Saturn fucking experience, I'll never forget
at one point he set his telescope to go to Saturn, his optical telescope, and we got to look through the different eyepieces at Saturn, and I laughed because it looked fake. Like, it was so perfectly a little bright outline of Saturn that it was just hilarious that was the... I don't know what I expected.
I was blown away by the fidelity and the clarity from the telescope.
That's the difference with the optical telescope. Is
Yeah.
that stuff? It's like you actually see a clear difference between...
No, the photons that are reflecting off of fucking Saturn are going directly into your eyeball.
Into your eyeball with that one.
That blew my mind. I was looking at Saturn. That's the close. I was looking at Saturn in its entirety, its rings, its colors, its majesty through my naked eye.
Yeah.
Which was
bent the light through glass several thousand times.
I mean, it's the future, baby. Are you kidding me?
They've had that technology for a while, but that's a good example of it. So the Raza, I started to explain this, and Chris knew exactly what I was talking about. Operates like the custom gun Jack Black builds for Bruce Willis in The Jackal. And where he'll pull up on his screen, okay, let's go to this nebula or this constellation, and the thing will whirl around and automate itself and get into position, and then it's actually not rendering to an eyepiece, it's rendering to a camera, and what it'll do is it'll stack numerous images of the same thing over and over again to build a clearer and clearer picture of exactly what it's trying to show you. And then he could start to do edits in real time of the
It was
contrast
a marvel
and
of
what-
engineering, this telescope.
Well, and so this is what I was comparing it to, was like when you used to go to Union Station and they would, you would put your penny in the machine and it would, or at the zoo, it would smash your penny into a different thing, into like a oval shape with a different custom imprint on it.
So, you know, you get a little tiger at the zoo, you get a little...
You don't want that because it is the end product. You want it because you got to watch it become that.
Right, you get to see all the gears
And
the
that's
inner
exactly what it was like
workings.
tonight. Like a big part of his thing that is valuable to me, I think, is that he he was showing us in real time what that part of the sky looked like right now. And then he could render the image in front of us, and he's going to send them to us. So we're going to use some for the cover art for the show.
It was absolutely the most compelling part of what he was selling, for sure, was that you're making the images. He's making the images right in front of you. He's explaining every detail of the images,
and then you get
to take them home.
That he kind of knows like the history and the actual informed like physics of like what that stuff is and how it relates to each other and why it's up there and how old it is, and he knew kind of all the background in a way that for a goofy autistic guy who's maybe not even 30 in the middle of Arizona doing this on the side professionally, he was really masterful at that part. I mean, we're kind of more informed than normal people. Like normal Hoosiers might not like that because it is a little academic in that part, but in a way that I thought it was very approachable. Though.
Yeah. Well, the way he was describing it was like complete. Like if you knew nothing about space and the stars and everything, you could still learn a lot about how it all works and why it's all there and why it looks like that and everything.
Again, when we pulled up even without the telescopes, it would have been a beautiful viewing experience because it was a really, really dark, clear, quiet, relaxed spot.
Oh yeah. No, there was a bat mewing in the background, but that was
there
about
was a bat
it.
that flew by a couple of times, and people may know I do
squeaking.
not like bats. I don't like this. It's not been windy the whole time, and the one time I sit out here,
I think it's out. This balcony is windy.
it's just because of where we are on the app. Here, you want some of this?
Oh my god. Yeah.
Whack. So, but he's going to be doing these at like glamping sites, like luxurious camp sites. He's going to be bundling
That's his next move.
for his next.
Which
thing.
I just worry.
So,
I just hope they're as sweet and thankful as we were, because, I guess like you said, your average Hoosier isn't gonna know what the fuck's going on. They just want to look at some.
I don't know
stars,
how much my dad would enjoy that.
But I think that actually worked out to our detriment because of all the asides that we went on with
that's
this
the thing.
man.
We got an extra hour out of this man.
Yeah.
Because we would not quit talking to him about. We would just take. I mean, and he had answers for everything.
Yeah.
And we were obviously. It was probably fun for him to an extent.
Yeah.
That we were so enthusiastic about not just what he was showing us, but the whole aspect of his business and the things about it that we liked. It was really nice. I've talked about this before. I did a private family tour of Grant's farm once.
Sure.
And this went out.
Okay.
And not nearly as expensive as you would think, but as VIP as that kind of place could get, really. And this was that kind of thing. It was just us. It wasn't like at a hibachi place where you got to share the table with another family, and it sucks.
Yeah, that would have ruined it to a certain extent. It was kind of, it felt very intimate, private. It was cool. It was like we just took a class about astronomy.
I've chartered deep sea fishing boats before, once, and it's like that. It was just us and our group, and we had the guy with the boat, and he took us to his spot that he's been curating.
Because you come from fishermen?
No. We're in Florida, and we chartered a deep sea fishing excursion for.
Did you fish? What'd you catch?
Yeah, red snapper.
That's fucking. I got that shit in Animal Crossing.
Delicious red snapper, fresh from the ocean.
Oh my god! It says fresh fish daily on the menu.
Yeah, but this was. I mean, I caught this red snapper, and I watched him butcher it, and we took it home. And I guess we ate it.
Okay. Yeah, but it was exactly what I wanted it to be, frankly. Like, if I were to choose, like, what's the ultimate stargazing trip?
I don't know. I would probably... That was his last evening on that site, so I'm not going to be too critical of the infrastructure, because it's a shared space that he uses at night.
No, but I loved that aspect of it, that he really was. It was just him setting all this up in a model airplane field by himself.
It feels like me when I work with like those cover bands where I have to set up all of the sound in a place where there is no sound.
Yeah.
Right? Most of my cover shows are on people's property in front of their garage or something. So I have to set up sound for an entire band, sometimes multiple instruments for the band on their
Well,
behalf.
And that's
then-
kind of what I'm talking about. Is like
that's exactly
it
what he
does
was
give,
doing.
It gives
was
that,
just
like,
a guy in his
independent
Durango
artist,
and his
like,
two
kind of vibe.
telescopes.
Yeah.
To the Durango.
To the Durango with the 500
to
pound
Chris
actually.
at Night Owl, Sedona.
The 500 pound, actually
I raised
300
my
pound.
DC, sir. And so we saw the Heart Nebula. We saw the Triangulum Nebula, or the Triangulum Galaxy.
Triangulum Galaxy,
And then the Andromeda Galaxy, which is
Yeah.
breathtaking. And actually, we were in position to where we could see the Milky Way cutting across the sky in a straight line around us, and you could really perceive the unique structure of our galactic orbit.
Well, I don't know if I'm able.
That those stars seemed you could trace a straight line
Yeah.
of like breadcrumbs, brother.
What blew my mind is that, like, all of those stars so close together, from our perspective, end up looking like a straight line. But then all the other stars that fill up our galaxy, like, that's just because they're that much closer than, like, so it just, like, shows how far away and how many there are. you know? And it, just, like, homogenizes into
And you're
one
gonna tell
solid
me
little stripe.
we have all of these stars in this massive universe stretched out across countless amasses of space over countless eons of time.
Right.
And we still can't. They're still hiring at rallies, you guys. Why can't we get somebody to work at the rallies?
Yeah, why can't we fill those jobs?
Nobody wants to work anymore. Everyone's trying to go to
Well-
space.
Would you work at rallies, Jacob?
No.
Neither would I.
I do eat there, though.
When was the last time you ate at a fucking rallies?
Definitely, if not more recently than this, it was definitely June of this year.
Is that is that a fugue state moment where you just get it in your mind?
It was
and
literally
you end
around
up
the
there?
corner of the building I was stationed in for summer school for 3 weeks.
Okay.
So, but I got accused of this
What
by
was-
a coworker of mine. I told her one of my favorite Wendy's to go to, where it was, and she said, "You love going to the hood," because I do. I do like going to the hood.
Well, yeah. I mean, you eating at rallies is kind of the embodiment of that.
Yeah, they don't have rallies in nice neighborhoods where we live, at least. We saw rallies on our way in here, and it didn't seem too terrible. But it's also we're on
Oh,
the
it
fucking
was-
surface of Mars. I wouldn't recognize a good neighborhood if it hit me in the dick.
Sips DC out of the straw.
And it's just beautiful out here. I can't believe it's so windy. It has not been windy this whole time. What do you think that means?
I don't know. In the desert, I think it's just the wind. There's no storms coming. There's, maybe the clouds are moving. Things are happening, but it doesn't matter. This place is fucking gorgeous.
Oh yeah,
And I've enjoyed my
It's been
time
such
here
a blessing.
Very much.
And I had shrimp and grits for lunch with pork belly.
What, like little bits of pork belly?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
And like a lovely little vine of little plum tomatoes, and just a little bit of arugula.
Oh, you had some of that leafy arugula over the
girl,
top.
and some kind of cheese, and and we had these little croissants. I think they're on my Instagram. And
You had a nice time.
what else did we have? I tried to get the crab cakes, but they were out of the crab cakes. They're getting a
So
whole
you
new
popped
menu.
into the only blue signed McDonald's in the entire world just for a DC. Was that kind of
Yeah, I don't really like the food there.
right? No, well, I'm just saying that's quite the side quest. I kind of love that.
Well, actually,
Yeah.
we were right next door to it
Yeah.
after lunch.
Oh, I see.
We got in the
was that
car-
strategic?
No, we got in the car after lunch and said, well, let's see where the McDonald's is. And it was literally, I didn't even have to get on the road.
Yeah. It's a
It
small
was
town.
the next parking lot over. And so I got out to take a picture. It's the only McDonald's in the world not to have a red sign.
This kind of blew me away.
And because here in Sedona, everything is built according to these architecture standards of it all has to look like this vibe that everything looks here. Like this wall behind me is a perfect example. That gutter, that terracotta roof.
It's all painted like the rocks.
Yeah, let me let me go dark here for a minute so you can see.
I think it's just some kind of like. It needs to feel authentic, but in the most gentrified way possible.
Yeah, beautiful terrain here. But yeah, you can see our architecture, very southwestern, very demure, very Arizona.
But see, like when you were driving up here, you said, "Oh, let's live here. Why aren't we out here?" Pretty much.
I say that every time we go anywhere.
Right,
though.
but how do you feel now? Would you? Would you teleport here?
I don't know. It's been too nice here, and like, I don't know that I could go. I don't know that I could commute to a job in this weather.
What if you worked at the school, at the public library?
I would have to wake up in the air-conditioned basement of the building I'm reporting to work in. 'Cause
I see.
I don't think if my car is hot in the morning, I don't think I could do it.
Yeah, but it's probably pretty like. For half the year, it's probably perfect.
Half the year.
Yeah.
What about the other half? I have to be alive that other half. If I can go on FMLA for half the year.
Yeah, but it's not cold. It never gets cold.
Yeah, but you don't ever hear me bitching about the cold. I don't like this. I don't like driving in the snow. But I also, if it was up to me, with limitless resources, I wouldn't be doing my own driving anyway. I think it should
That
be.
little Keith joint was evil, I think.
Have you heard about? There's like places where it's still illegal to pump your own gas because
Yes.
like the gas pumpers unions
So
lobbied.
yeah, what does that look like? Does like a little
I'm
bald
saying
boy
maybe
come
it
out
should
of?
be illegal to do your own driving.
Oh my god! But who's gonna? The
The
computers are gonna
drivers.
drive?
No, the drivers.
Oh, everyone has a driver.
No, yeah, but that's the thing is that if there was a class of people that were employed to do the driving officially,
Yeah.
what how could that improve our experience? If the only
mean, it
people
would-
driving are doing so in a regulated
Right, so you're talking
employment
about
status,
public transit.
no.
No, wouldn't that be the example of that though? Like a place like Tokyo
Sure.
or London, where it's like you can get around, you can get anywhere in a short
That's not
amount
the
of
thing
time.
I had in mind. I'm still picturing a situation where somebody is driving me and just me where I need to go. That's what I need.
Well,
I go
okay.
too many places. I can't be standing at a bus stop.
So what? You would just have to get certified to become a driver?
And then you don't have people driving outside of their 8-hour workday.
You would hate that, Jacob. You would hate that.
I don't want to be the driver.
Right, exactly.
Yeah. I don't want to drive though. I'm tired of driving.
And then it's just a free public service that you can take advantage of.
I didn't say it had to be free, but we rearranged the economy in such a way that I don't have all this money I'm spending on insuring and maintaining and gassing up a car.
How filling up gas in your car is not hard.
No, I mean financially though. Like if you remove all of those details of the finances of
now
having
I
and
understand
doing
what
my
you're
own
saying,
driving, remove all those details. I mean, that money I'm saving
Well, that exists.
to
It's
go
Uber.
into a membership service where I can just get a ride to work and no ride home from work when I need it.
for like pennies on the dollar less than an Uber ride.
Well, my problem is my commute is expensive right now. My commute to work Monday through Friday is really crazy. It's like 30 minutes at best.
That's too much.
And it's a drive nobody wants to do.
What's been your favorite part of the trip, Jacob?
This trip,
Yeah.
I think we're going to have the best stories to tell from the stargazing. However, the Grand Canyon is something I had never done. And when you see it and you see other people there from all over the world coming to view nature's miracle in the Grand Canyon, it reminds you how special it is. And it's, of course, breathtaking to see in person. It was a beautiful day. The weather was
Yeah.
lovely. We didn't really have any pollution from the smoke from that fire that we saw on the way in.
The bushfire.
I have a good picture of that mushroom cloud. There's a big chemical fire in Georgia right now.
Is it spewing out chemicals into the air?
Oh, yeah, it's bad. Biolab. They're telling everyone in the town to shelter in place. Conyers,
Oh
Georgia.
my
I want
God.
to say it begins with a C.
Well, it's a Chernobyl situation at that point.
It's just like Palestine, Ohio. Oh, I love this picture of you guys on your ATV excursion. Will you tell me about that?
ATV was pretty epic. I enjoyed it a lot. It was loud as fuck. This little two-stroke was working its heart out the entire time.
It's a two-stroke?
Oh, for sure.
Like a weed whacker?
Yeah, it might be multiple cylinders, but it's definitely exactly like a weed whacker.
Yeah, I know
So
two-stroke.
great gas mileage.
You doing some whacking?
But I don't know. You show up to the event, you show up to the place, you sign a bunch of shit, put down a $3,000 security deposit, and then they give you the thing. It's kind of like I did the ATV rental in our Siesta Key experience. It was similar to that. And
This is different than everything else I got.
what? Yeah, is it even more expired?
Okay, John was giving me shit.
Oh no, I hate that face. No, please.
Oh no, it's not expired. It was.
Yeah.
It was manufactured in April, but the expiration date is 12/19/24.
April.
What?
This is funny.
Because I can't buy whole flour here and then fly home with it.
No, absolutely.
Tell me more about your ATV experience while I open this.
Yeah, they give you a little map and a little iPad Kid tablet, and you put it up in the dashboard, and it's got a little map of all the trails. There was probably 5 trails that you could have chosen.
Kindle Fire HD.
Yeah, it was definitely like a Samsung Galaxy tablet or some shit. It doesn't matter. And then you hop in. John did most of the driving. He drove us all the way to the trail, which was about, I don't know, it was quite a ways. I mean, that was about a good 20, 30 minutes just driving on the roads in the ATV. I'm honestly good,
But I do need you to light it
Okay, I can do that.
because you're good at it.
So, yeah, we pull up to the trail, and I mean, it was mostly paved halfway, but then you get onto the dirt, and I mean, it was pretty, just rocks. You're driving on rocks and dirt.
That's the thing, because when I've had I almost said AT&T again. When I've had ATV experiences in Missouri, it's muddy and marshy, and there's certainly different landscapes and different terrain, but it's not rocky for the most part.
So I mean, this thing was definitely built by robot arms, and well, I can't even speculate on where, frankly, but it was cobbled together. Everything's made out of plastic, and everything's just clunking around and jostling about, and it's just it's a very loud experience. But you're feeling every single bump. You're swaying back and forth, and then so we're all just rotating driving. I hop in for a little bit on some of the smoother stuff, and then John gets back in, and then it's the first real. It's a decline, and it's just rocks. It's like a rock staircase. So I mean, you're just driving down the things, and I mean. Yeah, you're just getting thrown around quite a bit. We didn't go too fast or anything like that. And I mean, I probably, drove for a good 20 minutes of it. But we were out there just on the trail for an hour and a half. So, I mean, it was, probably more like an hour. But I don't know, it was fun. I've always wanted to do something like that. I wish there was a point that was more open, but I understand why, because apparently it's a very top-heavy vehicle. So I mean, it can tip or roll pretty much at multiple points. Even when I was driving, I wasn't driving down all the steep portions with all the jagged rocks that are just I mean, if you really put a tire wrong, it will actually just turn you over.
That's crazy, bro. Because
yeah.
it's rock hard at the bottom. I just can't imagine the ground not having to give.
When I was in the back, I was ready to just hop out at any point.
Dive out.
No, I mean, it really wasn't that crazy. And we chose one of the quote unquote scenic route. So it really wasn't that bad. It definitely could have gotten more intense. And I mean, the little dune buggy served us well. It was It was solid. So I don't know. It was a lot of fun. I'm glad I got to do it. I've always wanted to do something like that. Yeah.
Were there a lot of
did it
rules?
up. There's a lot of signs everywhere, and not really. It
What was the area they told you where to go?
So, I guess it was probably a good, like, probably 10, 15 miles west of here. So, like, where this main mountain that's
Yeah.
behind there, like, wraps around. So, we're on, like, the other side of this big mountain that's, like, in this direction here. So, it's pretty much, like, a little bit northwest of here. Or, well, I guess it is. It's, like, a little bit northwest. Mostly west. Mostly west from where we're staying at the Hilton Villa
Hilton, Sedona.
Sedona Summit. But yeah, it was cool. I don't know, the Grand Canyon is still definitely my favorite part of the trip, though.
Yeah, it's just so breathtaking. And
Yeah.
apparently there were condors. We were on the south rim. I didn't realize that the Grand Canyon is 2,000 square miles. And so, you know, there's...
Yeah, we saw a little baby tiny section of it.
There we go. There we go. Nothing is fucked here, dude. I burnt my finger on something.
Yeah, I don't know what you were trying to do there, but
I got it.
yeah, it's
We're,
over.
we're straight. So, what's next? We're going to the Cowboy Corral for dinner.
Cowboy Corral.
It's going to be, you know,
Do you think they have rolls at the table?
I don't know if they just bring them out, but they should. And you know what? If they do, I'll be grateful.
I would love a Texas Roadhouse experience tonight.
Yeah, or like, what's the Arizona equivalent?
Oh, I have no.
I mean,
I
we're
have
on
no
some
idea.
Red Dead Redemption shit out here.
This is the closest to Albuquerque, New Mexico, aka Walter White's stomping grounds that I've ever been to,
Yeah,
and I feel pretty good about that.
yeah.
It all went down in the desert. So yeah, I mean, I've never been in a landscape like this. And I mean, we are kind of in, this is one of the more beautiful parts of this state, I'm pretty sure, right?
Yeah, that's why this is here.
Yeah, exactly.
This is really just a resort
I think
outpost.
we're just a
'Cause
very,
like, oh, somebody came here
it's a very
50 years ago and said, this is cute, and then turned it into a $1 trillion.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, exactly. Just put a
'cause
couple
it's nothing
billion
but
into
resorts and boutiques and fucking tourist shit and cute.
Yeah, the town I'm
little
not
shit.
I'm not a fan of, frankly.
I enjoy it. I mean, I wasn't offended by it, but it was, you know, it's not.
Nothing really feels authentic here.
It's not like a deep cultural, authentic experience, you know, but it's a
Right.
beautiful part of the world. And, you know, they make it easy for you to come here and witness it.
Yeah. If you have thousands of dollars.
Tens of thousands.
Yeah.
And which is great. And I just raise that up in prayer. Where's my jewel? You know that song?
Sure. Where is your jewel? Is it in the weed pouch?
Yeah, I just put all my stuff in here when I get one of these. All of my. Here we go.
The generic child-proof Ziploc bag.
Yeah, those are very handy. I mean, you can just live out of one of these. What was the story with that man we saw at the Circle K with the 2 Aldi's bags? Did we ever figure out what's going on with him?
Oh,
He kept marching along. Did
he
you
went
see
in
him
there and he
inside
was
there?
and he got what is the largest size? Is that like a 32 ounce?
Yeah, it'll be 44.
So he got a 44 ounce cherry Sprite, and he walked right out the door. Well, he paid for it, but then he left. I'm pretty sure.
He paid for it.
Well, I don't know. I didn't see him pay for it, but I assume he paid for it.
Nobody yelled at him.
No, but he had his little laundry slinged over his
Is
shoulder.
that laundry? He's
Yeah.
just out doing laundry on a Sunday. God bless him.
Really, nothing happened.
Apparently, people at Sedona are supposed to be weird. Maybe we'll witness something tonight. I mean, we have
I think
been.
everything's a little.
My wife
weird
and I
around
have
here.
been attracting the autists. My wife and I are both neurodivergent, and so
What did she mention? The guy at the pharmacy?
Well, because also our waiter today
Yeah.
was definitely of the tribe, and he came up to me and me and him just both looked at each other like 2 golden retrievers. They didn't know what to do, and he was a very sweet man. We had a lovely meal.
What'd you tip him?
25%.
There you go.
That's the minimum I ever do.
Bingo, bango, bongo.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, that's...
My wife was filling out the ticket and
No.
started the tip line with a 1, and I said,
20 if it's...
if I'm on vacation and it's lunch for me and her, it's $20 for the tip.
20%?
$20.
$20.
Unless if the lunch is more than that, it would
I
be
see.
more.
Yeah.
But like, if it's, it was like $80, and
Oh,
I gave him $20.
beautiful. Yeah, we love to see that. No, 20% even if it's bad, and then
If it's more
25 if it's good,
Yeah.
and more if it's great.
Well, because you're not even really fucking over just the waiter or waitress if you
Yeah.
don't tip them at all.
Yeah.
Because you have to then trust them to still tip out everyone supporting them.
Yeah, exactly. You tip
whoever actually
20%,
ran your
I mean,
food
you're-
and make
you're-
your drinks and whatever. Like,
Yeah.
it's the infrastructure, which is,
No, you tip 20%, your waiter ends up getting like maybe a little over 15%.
And yesterday
of that
at the Mexican place,
in most places.
we
Yeah.
were doing the tipping
Mm-hmm.
on your mother's behalf, and they had included like a 20% gratuity already.
Oh, really?
We
Okay.
had to throw a little something on that.
Yeah.
We had to throw a little something else on that.
You throw a little something else on that.
Because I
don't-
also saw 3 different dudes while we were in there. 3 different
Yeah.
people brought me things. You know what I mean? And that's a prime location that we got seated immediately. That ain't nothing. I had at least 6 Diet Cokes.
You ran through about 6, yeah.
6. They may have even been
6.
Diet Pepsis, which is not of the Lord.
There were definitely Diet Pepsis
They're
for
definitely
sure.
What is that about?
Yeah.
Pepsi thinks they own the minority market. I'm here to tell them. Diet Coke is for everybody.
Yeah, but what's a world with only Coke? that a
Oh,
world you
well,
wanna
in a
live in?
perfect world, I would have options of both everywhere I went.
This is true.
That's the actual free market. The actual option is Pepsi and Coke.
And so every restaurant's got to have 2 soda machines now.
I mean, figure it out.
That's double the lines. You want
Okay,
to route
then
those lines?
Just have Diet Coke.
Yeah, I mean, frankly, every place should have Diet Coke. I feel
You
like
go to
at
my
this point.
if you come to my house, I have a dozen Angry Orchards. I got about 6 White Claws. I always have a bottle of wine. Not for me. I don't drink. Just on hand. And I have probably about 30 Diet Cokes. A variety of pickles.
Are you
and
getting those
snacks.
from Sam's? Is that
I
where you're
mostly
getting
like to go to the Sam's in Ferguson because I'm a patriot. And it's a box of 35. I usually get at least 2 at a time. If I'm really feeling good that day and my hernia is not agitated, I'll get 4. And that's 100.
4?
That's
How many
140 Diet Cokes.
Yeah, you gotta save that aluminum.
Yeah, I have a recycling dumpster. Oh, you think I should be selling it?
Okay, either just store it in your basement.
My
so
wife
that-
does not want me to store it in the basement.
But I'll melt it down, and we'll make some aluminum shit out of it.
You want to make arts and crafts out of the aluminum?
Yes.
I thought you wanted to turn it back in at Recycle Mart in
Well,
Fenton.
no, but then we can sell.
Did I
the
just
arts and
get bit by
crafts.
something while we were out here?
I don't know.
Ugh.
I'm not living
If I
in
see
your
a
body.
fucking scorpion, I'm done. I'm going
Are you
home.
kidding me? If there's a scorpion out here,
I haven't seen one.
it's not gonna happen.
What about rattlesnakes?
I saw one big lizard for a brief moment across the trail today.
Today?
on the 4x4
On your
excursion.
ATV excursion?
Yeah. It wasn't that big. I don't know. It's probably the size of. It's probably in length the size of half this table.
Whoa!
Yeah.
Like a 10-inch, 12-inch lizard?
Yeah, because I saw it from far away.
Oh.
Yeah.
We could have had a 16-inch iguana. What kind of lizard?
Yeah. I don't know. I saw a little baby lizard yesterday, and then I saw a big lizard today, and that's the only wildlife and moths. I've seen
Yeah, I
a lot
didn't
of
see
moths.
any of those javelinos everyone was worried about last night.
We were in the midst of a bat, though, and that's pretty epic. I
Yeah,
enjoyed that.
I think it was the same bat, though.
God,
He came by at least
I will
twice.
never forget when I looked into that telescope and saw Saturn.
No, it was beautiful, breathtaking.
Yeah.
And it was the actual light reflecting back
Yeah.
from Saturn at us.
No, it's not just like, oh my God,
glass.
I saw a picture from the Hubble telescope.
Yeah, and
No,
that's what was
it's-
so special, because he
Yeah.
had both, too. He could offer us a live digital image of the thing in the sky as it looks right now, but we could step up to the eyepiece and the optical refractor.
Well, just imagine you have access to all this equipment. Oh, I'm just going to go out to the desert and I'm going to go look at stars for like hours on end. That sounds fun.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. That's the thing. You don't. I mean, here it's a lot of work to do some of the stuff I have to do with all the equipment I own.
Yeah.
But plugging shit in and making it do the job it's supposed to do is always fun.
Yeah.
Whether it's. That's why my computer setup at home is always so stupid. Because if I have a fucking extra display port, I want to plug it in.
Oh, absolutely.
I want to run it.
No, I mean, there is that like fallacy of people who make things like invest way too much time into just like perfecting their setup. But I mean,
but that's this guy Chris at Night Owl is the exact guy who should have those telescopes.
Yeah,
he.
Well, it's a
knows
certain
where to-
type of artist, I'll say.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I mean, like
Not
for
necessarily
example,
all
yeah, that's just a rare thing that you pair the knowledge with the access and the whatnot. And he obviously had the experience doing it with people that didn't really have the respect for it that he does.
Yeah.
And crazy. So let's just make sure there's nothing we gotta hit, because I may just edit tomorrow. And I don't know. It's a real bummer being away from my PC.
Yeah, you want the command center.
You know what I mean? Well, and just like I can't really render
your
on
switchboards.
This is an i5.
This guy, I really like this laptop.
Oh yeah, I got it for free.
Yeah, it looks like we could throw it off this balcony and it would
It'd be fine.
Yeah.
Oh, she good.
Yeah.
And this is my whole, mobile podcast. Right? I got 2 cameras. I even got a backup camera, or I could do multicam. But multicam on the road is a lot. Because what are we looking at? My hair looks like this. Like this is hotel conditioner.
I'm surprised you didn't bring both of the Osmos.
I have both of them.
Oh, you do?
Yeah,
Okay.
the other one's in here.
I see.
But I've just mostly been using the new one. I haven't needed a backup for any reason. But the one that broke is the shittier of the two, which is why it was.
This is the new hotness.
This
right
is the
here.
brand new one.
Yeah.
But they make the 3 now, which is why these dropped in price, which is why Clay got me this.
I see.
As a replacement, because the
I
3
see.
is like $500. But but it's different. But it's not ideal because I don't need, for the podcast, I don't need something with a battery necessarily. I kind of want to have something I could run off power the whole time, even if there's a battery in it. And
Yeah, I mean, I would almost say you should get something like a DSLR or something like that for video.
see, here's the thing. Can I show you this guy here?
Or just some kind of SLR.
He's selling his whole podcast rig. I set my Facebook Marketplace to Sedona,
Yeah.
and this guy is where are my favorites? Where are my favorites?
No, I mean, you can get a 5D Mark III for a decent price now, and I mean that'll. Well, I don't know. I don't know if that shoots 4K. I don't think it does actually. But that's an old camera.
Yeah, and I don't necessarily need to get an old one, but I want to be able to run it off of actual, like, plugging it into something, and instead of just having to run it off the battery, because sometimes these die on me. Well, the other one has died on me during a show before, but now that one's deceased. I don't think that one's coming back, but that's the one I got for free. So, I raised that up in prayer to the glory of God, and it was like Sony A somethings.
Right.
This guy had 3 of them.
People love that camera.
And I just put a dummy battery in it, but is it going to quit shooting after 30 minutes or something?
I think the newer you go, the more battery life you'll have. But I think those earlier Sony A, like mirrorless cameras,
A6100
aren't going to have great battery life for video, I feel like.
No, but that's the thing. So can I
Yeah.
just run them off a dummy battery? I have Sony.
Yeah,
dummy
you can plug
batteries.
them in for sure.
And-
Well, you can also.
But I'm just worried. Will it
Little
let
DC.
the video run for, like, we are at 45 minutes right now?
Yeah, that probably depends on your card, and yeah, I mean, again, like the newer, the more time you'll have for sure.
So this guy had. He obviously he's got microphones for
Oh
sale, too.
yeah, I mean, I see. Okay, so that's not like the full. That's not what I was thinking. I think the A7s are like the big daddy Sony A.
It's bigger than the.
Yeah, so I mean, like I think they're up to like the A7 Mark 5 or 6 or something.
A7 III.
Yeah, that's a great
I think
camera.
the A7 IV exists.
Yeah. Those are going to be way more expensive though. But then you'll be able to use like all of Sony's like best lenses and shit like that. But And you can get adapters for them and all that too.
Yeah, I mean, you
I
can
don't
get,
know,
you
but
can get an A7 III for
I feel like this is
$1,000.
kind of perfect. This little Osmo.
Well, that's the thing too, because even if I have to replace these on occasion, you know what I mean? They're so affordable. Mm-hmm. And it's been the camera of this great renaissance of the show.
Yeah, I think that's your primary right there.
Yeah, and the other one is nice. It'll do 4K 25, like I have that one doing, and I have little filters on them.
Yeah, but I mean, like, if you ever actually need the quality boost, like, definitely the larger sensor, the better. Like, that's kind
Yeah.
of the rule of thumb. So, I
Yeah.
mean, that camera that you just showed me has
That's
a
the same with
smaller,
microphones.
it has a smaller sensor than, like, the A7 or whatever, I'm pretty sure.
Got it.
But you want a full frame sensor, baby. That's your next move.
Do I want to go with like a full 50 millimeter look?
50 millimeter.
What do I?
So there's just sensor sizes. So I mean, the sensor in that is
It's a 1-inch sensor.
that's a 1 inch. Yeah. So
Yeah.
I mean, that's like a sensor about like yay big.
Yeah.
It's not actually 1 inches. And then you have a micro 4/3. I'm pretty sure is like kind of the most common like next step up, which is probably about that big.
Yeah.
A full frame sensor is probably about that big.
Yeah.
And then like say like what I shoot photos on, the Pentax 6.7, the sensor on that is like this big.
Yeah, that thing's cool.
Yeah. Oh, it's a beautiful machine.
Yeah.
I love it. Yeah.
Yeah, standing on the cliff the other day, shooting you across.
Yeah, just
On the
looking
other
through
cliff.
that viewfinder is
Oh,
kind
it's
of
beautiful.
a magical experience.
Yeah. It's like if the picture looks anything like what I'm seeing in the viewfinder, we're in
Yeah.
for a real treat.
I mean, it never does.
Yeah, that's the beauty of it.
Yeah. But it is really cool. I do love that camera. And it's I've had it for like 6 or 7 years. at
I
this
just
point.
really want to get into.
No, I've had it for like 5 years.
Did I show you any of the footage I'm working on for the last No Antics show we did? That
I don't think so.
I had 2 of these, and I had my iPhone set up as stationary somewhere else, and then I had full audio of the thing that I could mix myself after the fact to make it sound really good. And so I've been working on a 3-camera cut of that whole show.
Right. Okay.
And so I
Yeah.
love
How long was the set?
an hour.
Okay. Yeah.
And so
That's quite a bit to chop through, especially
Yeah.
if you're.
I was able to get it all,
Yeah. That's sick.
and
Again, but it goes back to the whole like plugging all my things in, letting it run, and having it work the way it's intended.
Yeah.
Like there's something just.
and there's so many things I'd love about like being able to hit record in one place and have it start on all of them at the same time.
Love.
I would love to be able to do that.
Yeah.
But really, I mean, I'm shooting a thing with Kirkos in December, this band that I love from St. Louis, that I'm going to be running sound for their show, and I'm going to shoot the whole thing because I'm going
Yeah.
to be there anyway, and I don't have to play, and because they're friends of mine and I enjoy their stuff or whatever, it'd be a good opportunity for me to practice some of that. But I'd love to go 3-camera, and I definitely like 4K 25 is what I've been doing all my stuff, and I definitely like that. So that's hard because I can't just use any old camera.
That's a lot of data too. Those file sizes.
Yeah, I get by pretty good with these. It's like a quarter of a terabyte.
Okay. Sure.
Yeah, and then I put them on. I have a couple of those 2 terabyte little Samsungs,
Yeah.
and I put them on there, and then I don't keep them forever once the project is published. Like right now I have tons of files from the podcast, but once stuff starts to fold up, I'm like, I don't need all the raw
You delete
files.
it.
I can keep just the edit.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Some people are not like that.
Well, I haven't had to do that yet.
Yeah.
It is inexpensive as those little Samsungs are.
Yeah.
I can also see myself maybe having a
I think
pile of them
eventually you will get to that point.
where I just delete them.
No, to where you are gonna be like, oh, I need to keep all this shit.
All
just
the
in
raw
case.
files.
Yeah.
That's the thing is
But
that
not now. Not
Yeah.
now.
yeah. I don't know.
It's fun though.
It's a good time.
Yeah.
But the oh, look at this. Mercedes.
Is that a pink
What does it
tour?
say? Is it a dog groomer? Pink Adventure Tours.
Yep.
Yeah, I wonder where they went.
Jesus. adventure tour in the back of a Mercedes Sprinter with
Mercedes.
completely tinted windows.
Is there anything that's heavy on your heart?
Heavy on my heart.
Are you worried about anything in the world?
In the world?
Or, you know.
I mean, we are. It's all fucked. But I mean, we'll just see where we end up. Is kind of what I've been realizing.
Yeah,
the
I think
past
we're
6
already so
months.
much better off than most people.
Yeah.
That I think if we ride that wave for a little bit, you know. I'm not going to let them eat you, though.
You got my back?
Yeah, I'm not
I
going to let
got
the
yours.
cannibals eat you.
I got yours.
Do you know your blood type?
Absolutely not.
You don't know? Why don't men know their blood type?
I haven't had to know my blood. I haven't needed a
neither.
blood transfusion in my
Yeah.
life.
Your sister's O negative. So in the apocalypse, we're never going to need blood. She's a universal donor.
That's how it works?
Yeah.
Oh, shit. Okay, cool. So what, we're harvesting blood? That
No,
sounds
just
awful.
if we need it.
Yeah, okay.
I mean, that could really keep our outpost. I think we hole up at Innsbruck.
No, Innsbruck's gonna fall quick.
You think Innsbruck's going to fall?
Yeah, all of the... Yeah, it's gonna get ransacked for supplies.
But do you think looters are really going to come that far into Innsbruck to our chalet? We're so in there.
Yeah, but have you seen the security people at Innsbruck?
I just don't think... I think the area around it is not densely populated enough that our spot in Innsbruck would be a problem. That we'd have access to fresh water.
I'm trying to think strategically. So, I mean, it is kind of a... Because the land kind of dips after the lake. So, I mean, no one's climbing up that.
Yeah.
We could fortify it.
I think we could fortify it. We have to
Yeah.
go over 2 bridges to get back to where we are.
No
we
one's
could blow
going
one
up.
of those bridges, bro. We get everybody across the lane. We blow the bridge.
Yeah, we blow the dam.
Yeah.
This is true, yeah. And then what? Supplies? We live off the
We
land?
repopulate or something. I don't know. It seems like a lot of pressure.
No, we're fucked if it all turns into anarchy. We're fucked.
The problem is harvesting your own raising your own chickens covertly is hard because chickens are noisy.
Yeah, and we would need a coop for sure.
Because me and Keenan will each eat a whole chicken a day.
Yeah, but I'll build a coop. I'll make a coop.
Yeah, and we got plenty of room for them to graze, but I worry about, and I don't even worry about natural predators with them because that has been domesticated in those woods for so many years by now. There's not like dangerous things out there to the extent that there used to be. However, chickens are noisy, and if I'm trying to be in the woods, I don't want my chickens making all this ruckus.
No, we got enough space for that.
What if somebody flies a helicopter and they see my
and
chickens?
they see the chickens?
They see somebody's feeding chickens in the middle of these woods.
I don't think there's going to be enough infrastructure for people to just be flying helicopters around. The government would be flying helicopters around.
But what if the government's the enemy?
Then we're fucked.
Patreon.com, Jacob V.